He was the first disciple of, there he met for the first time, that was Osho was called Acharya Rajneesh, Bhagavan Sri Rajneesh.
Right, in India, even we were talking about Ramana earlier, right? Ramana is also called.
It is that one impersonal God, exactly.
And love, maybe.
Yeah, it's a sign of respect and some mystery around them. Because if there is no mystery, he is not Bhagavan. You can get that book in the...
What is the book?
In Wonder with Osho.
In Wonder with Osho?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a book written by Anand ji.
Yeah.
Okay. It's more than that, you're saying. You have to be aware of yourself.
Exactly.
And engage on a specific thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there is a very great freedom to switch on around, you know. Mm-hmm. You can switch to your body. Mm-hmm. Still you are focusing on your breath. And subtle distraction is you are holding, you know you are doing that, you are not going here and there, but something is waiting any time to beat you off. If you see Osho or Ramana Maharshi, all these enlightened people, you know, it is the reflected
Get of jealousy, anger, violence, all that leading.
That is why any religion says that we are the...
But yet, everybody's fighting. Everybody's saying,
why this
my religion is better, my master is better.
Why this is happening? They also say that we are together, we are from the same source, you know.
It alienated a lot of people. It created enemies.
Yeah.
I think Osho himself said he loved it.
I think he was aware of that phenomena, and he probably must have thought, by doing this, if I do, I am not going to lose anything anyway.
Manali.
Yeah, and Swamiji was there, Swami Arun was there with him. There was not so many people with him. And Swamiji was very hard that they have to leave Rajneeshpuram.
Because Osho transcended the mind, enlightened, and he is not bound by morality.
No enlightened master bound by moralities.
Okay.
No enlightened master. What will be listened?
I don't follow. You're saying Buddha caused 30 monks to die?
No. Buddha was talking about the impermanence of the body. The body is temporary.
Right.
It is full.
So he cannot be wrong in a lot of things he said. If he's wrong, then everything else is also wrong. Because that's not his message.
Because if you
he's just an interpreter.
Yeah, if you see... If I am ignorant and I feel that, oh, I accept Jesus, I accept Muhammad, if I am myself ignorant, then what does it mean that for Jesus?
Okay.
We are very well connected with here in Nepal. Nepal police regularly comes here and they get training, administrative people. But right now people need to relax.
Right, we have to go beyond the mind.
Yeah, beyond the mind.
Right.
Because
I think psychology is recognizing.
It's recognized.
Maybe I'll start asking to say a little bit about the commune and yourself, and how it came about and what happens here. And
our activities and how long it has been existing, you know.
Right.
So this is because if you, to understand about this commune, you have to know a little bit about Osho's movement in Nepal. So Swamiji, who is Bodhisattva Swami Anand Arhat, he was the first disciple of Osho in Nepal.
First disciple in Nepal.
Yeah, Nepal.
Okay.
So he was an engineer student in Patna, North India, Bihar.
You went to study
there.
From Nepal.
Yeah, from Nepal, on the government quota. And he was studying there on third year, in 1969. There he met for the first time, that was Osho was called Acharya Rajneesh.
Okay,
he
before he changed his name.
Before he changed his name to Bhagavan Sri Rajneesh. And then Osho later on.
Okay, that
that is the sequence. He was first called Acharya till 1970.
1970.
Yeah, from 1970 to 1989, he was called Bhagavan Sri Rajneesh.
Bhagavan Sri
Rajneesh, yeah. And at the end of his life, before probably living 7 months before leaving his body, he was then called Osho.
Oh, it's only for a lot of...
Not for a long time.
So how this name came about? Is it something he came up with, or disciples gave it to him?
It is said that one lady from Japan came to Pune. She was considered to be an enlightened lady. She had a big following in Japan.
Okay.
So she heard...
By herself?
Yeah, by herself. She was, on her own capacity, she was a big master. And her name was Tamazan.
Yeah.
And she came to Pune. She heard that one enlightened master exists in India, which is very powerful. So she came to meet Osho, and Osho understood that she was also a lady of a big heart and awareness. She was a very good teacher also.
Spiritually mature.
Yeah, spiritually very mature. And Osho really, there is one video, Osho showered the flower to her from the stage.
Like a
resa to her. And in Japan, a senior, like very a master with the beard, you know, and who is spiritually very elevated person is called Osho. This is and she started calling Osho.
Calling him.
Yeah, she called.
You see him like the elder master in Japan.
Okay. And Osho was a good name, then everybody started calling, like somebody probably they were just trying to copy that word and saying for them, for their own use, and this case it really get a while like acceptance and Osho acceptance. But many people right now in our world, the old people who had, because Osho is just for the last few months, he was called Osho. Most of the time he was called Bhagavan Sri Rajni. So many people knew him, and also right now the people from 70s, 80s know him as Bhagavan Sri.
That's interesting, right? In India, even we were talking about Ramana earlier, right? Ramana is also called Bhagavan.
Yes.
Right? And I think it's Indian tradition to call enlightened people Bhagavan.
Yes.
Right? I think Bhagavan means God.
No. Yes. It has a two way of saying it. It is that one impersonal God.
Right.
That is also Bhagavan. They call it Bhagavan. Like it means the person who created the world.
Right. In
a traditional way.
Right.
But also it is when a person meets an enlightened person, they also call him Bhagavan, because his presence is like the God who solves everything in their mind. It is the nature of their own presence is so powerful and so illuminating that people become very peaceful and they feel like the presence of God is there near about him.
Right.
And from that experience, people wanted to use some words to him. So they could not find a parallel word, so they used that word, which is really meant to be used for the Bhagavan that created the world, or something impersonal aspect of it.
At least the way I understood that is right. In Hindu tradition, they have like Paramatma and Jivatma, right? So enlightenment is literally getting release for your Jivatma and being one with
one with the universal soul.
So if you are one with it, you consider like that.
Exactly.
I think that's at least that's the way I understood the name.
Because in many ways, so many in local level also, in many there are also many saints in India. They are also called Bhagavan. They are devoted just out of love. They call him Bhagavan. It is not the person with the good disposition of the heart. For them to call somebody else their master Bhagavan is no big problem.
Right.
There is no philosophical explanation about that.
It's like in somewhat parallel maybe in politics. They have somebody as a leader. Here sign of respect.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And love maybe.
It's a sign of respect and some mystery around them. Because if there is no mystery, he is not Bhagavan.
Okay, interesting.
Because if everything comes into the explanation, then it is cannot be Bhagavan. It is a science. It is a laboratory.
Okay.
But the person who is called Bhagavan has a very big dimension of mystery.
Interesting. So basically you're saying there's a dimension of something unknown? Like,
exactly.
Like we don't know what the God is?
That is why he is called Bhagavan. The Bhagavan, that is the unexplainable one.
But he went through 3 different names. That's very interesting.
And he met Acharya Rajneesh. That time he was
Acharya
called.
is a common name. I mean,
Acharya is a teacher.
Right?
Exactly.
That's a very venerable, respectable name. Given to people who are expert. The expert in whatever.
Again, the word Acharya, if you see in Upanishadic term, Acharya is a big master of. But later that word came into Hindi, and Acharya means a teacher.
Okay.
But Acharya is in fact is also master. Like in Upanishad, in Vedas, they have this Acharya Mrityu Bhava.
I see. You're saying Upanishads back then, Acharya not just teacher.
Just not just teacher.
It also could mean enlightened person.
It's an enlightened person is also called Acharya there.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
In the old folklore, it is that. But later on, because there are so many words just jumping from Sanskrit to Hindi, and they are localized and they become the words of the everyday users for the unenlightened people.
It's natural.
Exactly. And then when he met, next time, he himself wrote letter to Osho, and he invited to his college. Who? Swami Anand Arhat.
Oh, okay. So Swami.
I'm carrying that story of this coming.
Okay. So thinking back,
Swami Anand Arhat.
Swami Anand Arhat, the founder of this was in school in India.
In college.
Then he came to know about him, he invited Osho to come.
First he came to his city, he met him.
Oh, he met him.
Yeah.
That's in Patna?
He's in Patna,
Okay.
And then later he wrote to him. From one magazine he knew his address, he wrote to him. And Osho very lovingly wrote him back.
Okay.
And he said that I want to invite you to my college to give your, to share your wisdom.
Right.
And really he came and he stayed there. He talked to the student of it is a very interesting story. Probably you can get one book, In Wonder with Osho. He wrote that. All this experience is there in that very book. You can get that book in the...
What is that book?
In Wonder with Osho.
In Wonder with Osho. Oh, that's a book written by Anandji. Okay,
this is very interesting book.
Okay.
And then Osho came to his college, and the bond started to become very closer, and they were writing to each other. And Swamiji says that he has big problem in life regarding his career and then his family things and everything. And Osho said that no problem can be solved by analyzing the problem. Problem has to be dropped. Then when you drop engagement, when you drop that engagement with the small problem, engagement of the small problem with your whole consciousness, it will be like a throne. So you have to drop that throne. And when you become free, you have an insight into life. That can only happen when you come to meditation.
Well, that's very, very, very powerful or very insightful statement you're making. You're saying you can't solve a problem by analyzing it,
no,
but only dropping it.
Yeah.
But when we say that, right, when somebody listening to this or a common person
exactly,
who don't have understanding of context,
exactly,
they may think, how could you solve a problem without analyzing
okay,
it? That may look like a kind of incredulous.
This is a very good question. Remember, there is always master moment. Master moment means the intuitive moment when analyzing does not work. There is an intuition, there is a hunch, but that is beyond the analysis. And later on, what has come to you, like when I'm saying this, when there is a problem, persisting with the problem, it will take you to the deeper level of the problem, but it does not guarantee the solution of the problem. Like in so many scientific experiments, so many scientists have said, we really try to solve that problem. Later on, when we drop, and all of a sudden it came. There are so many stories about...
Are you meaning like when you say like when you drop the problem, there's two ways to take that, right?
Yeah.
For example,
one is just not taking care of that
just
situation.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I was worrying about this particular problem. I'm spending too much time. I think I don't have to waste time on it. I'm going to drop the problem. When I drop the problem, then I'm no more bothered by the problem.
Okay.
So, but that means I got released from my stress.
Okay.
So that itself can be a solution if all the solution we're looking for is relieving the stress.
Yes.
Sometimes if you don't think about it, no stress.
Okay.
That's what Ramana Maharaj said.
Yeah, exactly.
In sleep, we have no problem.
Yes.
Because we don't
remember, we don't analyze, we don't do anything.
Thinking, analyzing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But we didn't solve the problem, but maybe the solution, there is a solution. If the solution we were looking for is simply ending the suffering, ending the stress, finding the peace, then best way to achieve that solution is simply drop the problem.
Yeah, but here it is not that we drop the problem. It is not that we drop our project. It is not that we don't attain anything. But because you have to understand the mind, its capabilities. Because mind is not one faculty, it is a feeling type, the mind that feels the situation, overall feeling of the situation. Another is then, with that feeling, you enter into that stage to solve with the analysis. So there is always a bigger context of that problem. So Osho said that he wrote to him, you cannot solve that way. When your energy is high, and with that high energy you are in silence, you will not take that problem as a problem, but as an engagement with life. Then you will just do it in such a way that not losing your peace, you will do it, but not the way when you have lesser energy and always fighting with the situation.
Okay, I think I see what you're saying. So here means dropping the problem, not necessarily just let the problem go, forget about it, then not bothered by it.
No.
We are saying
it's not escaping the situation. It is facing the problem with the bigger perspective of the problem.
Got it. Basically, it's basically actively engaging in a problem without over-trusting it or without over-analyzing it.
Yeah. Because when mind has the bigger context, there is a two things. Even when you meditate, there is a focusing meditation and there is an awareness. When you become aware and don't bother about the focusing, you know so many things around. This is the same situation with the problem. Because when you take any problem, if you want to solve the problem, probably, if you become relaxed, then you know the players around problem better.
That makes sense. For example, right now we are talking to each other. I'm focused on what you're telling me. You're focused on what I'm telling you. I'm not aware of everything around here.
Yes.
This beautiful mountain here and
exactly.
trees here.
Birds are singing right now.
Yes. I wasn't hearing. After you said it, now I'm hearing it.
Exactly.
So when the concentration by the nature, it engages the energy on a limited area.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So then the mind only can operate on that limited
space.
Limited space and limited information. For example, right now, we can only talk about the subject presented at the moment.
Exactly.
But when you're aware, I'm not totally focused, a little bit free. I'm hearing everything. I'm aware of other things.
Exactly.
Maybe like the brain has the ability to mix what I'm hearing and what's happening around.
Exactly.
So how do you define focus meditation? Is this one of those meditations?
It is. Basically, there are two ways of practicing meditation. In the beginning, it is a focus meditation, like in Vipassana also.
So what is focus meditation?
Focus meditation means like...
Is it any different from what people say?
It came when you start understanding the nature of the mind. If you understand the nature of the mind, first it is like the mind is just a scanner. Yes.
Okay.
It's like a bird flying from one branch to another, from another to another, another to another, another to another, but not holding her presence in one branch for longer.
Because our thoughts, that's why they say mind is a monkey.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, it is the same thing. It is the first nature of the mind, distract. It means it has no stable attention.
Right.
It cannot hold on to one subject for a long time. It is not the nature of the mind. Why? Because we needed that mind for the survival.
How it's necessary for
Because
survival.
if you become totally focused in one subject and don't become aware of what is happening around, evolution could not have happened.
Okay, interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is because that is why people really feel very big problem when they start meditating. Because you are going against the unconscious evolution of the mind when you start focusing.
So basically, you're not allowing mind to wander, right? When you say focus meditation, for me, it's not different from focusing. Like when I'm reading a book, when I'm watching a movie, I'm focused on a movie, right?
Yeah.
Is it same thing?
Yeah, it is little same thing, but here, when you watch the movie, you are not there.
I'm not aware.
You are not aware of, but
Right.
here in focus meditation, you are here. And you know the focusing process also.
So that is the distinction then.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a good point.
Yeah.
So it's not like a typical regular focus.
It is not a typical forgetfulness.
When I'm driving,
Yeah.
I'm focused on driving.
Yeah.
Watching movie, I'm focused on
Yeah.
watching movie. When I'm talking, I'm focused
Yeah.
on it. But here, it's more than that you're saying. You have to be aware of yourself.
Exactly.
And engage on a specific thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there is a very great freedom to switch on around, you know. You can switch to your body. Still you are focusing on your breath, and then you go to the breath, you are still knowing the body. So there is a big like play of the energy between the focused object and who is focusing there.
Okay.
So this is
The subject and object.
Yeah, this is a greater reality than the only objective world.
You're right. When you sometimes people lost like their own percent, they fully engaged on the movie. Then that's how the movie dictates even their
Exactly.
emotions and
And
stuff.
people start crying.
Right.
People do so many things, you know,
Right.
they feel
Get
like
excited.
they start reliving that story inside them, you know.
Right. Yeah, they almost become
Yeah,
the
yeah,
story.
exactly.
There's no distinction between what they are watching and who they are. There is no separateness. Right?
Yes, yes.
So in focus, you keep the
Yeah,
distance.
and then what happens when you start working with the focus, there is a distraction coming there all the time. Distraction is, there is subtle distraction and gross distraction. Gross distraction means the object is coming, you know, and it is taking you away. That is a gross distraction. Subtle distraction is you are holding, you know you are doing that, you are not going here and there, but something is waiting any time to beat you off.
Any time to what?
To beat you off the track. That is a subtle distraction.
I see. That means you still have some control over it.
Yeah.
It's not able to pull you away.
But you become aware of
Aware
the
of
subtle
it.
things, you know.
Right, right.
And from there you start having another dimension develop within you. You start understanding the mind wandering, the nature of how mind wanders. And this is a big insight.
So what does that mean? How mind,
is like-
how mind wanders.
Wonders, yeah.
Right.
It goes here and there.
So before it's unconscious.
Yes.
Right?
You start
You don't
knowing.
even know until you went to something else. You don't even know. Here, as it happens, as it comes up in your awareness,
Exactly.
you are able to witness it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have those
You start knowing the movement of the mind as an unconscious phenomenon.
That is kind of being more aware of what's
Exactly,
happening.
because in meditation, when you become, it is not becoming conscious of the conscious, it is becoming conscious of the unconscious.
Right. Our unconscious.
Drives, behaviors,
Habits.
patterns, you know, that learnings.
That makes sense. So that's the whole question comes up, right? So fundamentally, if somebody asks the question, right, I born in this world, right, in Nepal or America or India or whatever the country I'm from, and I'm getting the culture, right, whatever the culture, you become a Christian or Muslim or Hindu or n number of cultural, that information comes in. And that's how everybody lives. It's a collective agreement, right? Everybody goes on living. And suddenly, then people say like, you have to go do spiritual practices, you have to engage in self-discovery, you have to get enlightened. It's not a normal thing in any society, right? Most people don't do this. 99% of the people don't do it, right? If somebody asks you, why should I do it, right? Like I wake up, I go there, I go to school, I study, I get a job, I make money. They may even say I'm happy. Then why would I get into all this meditation? The reason coming there is related to what we are talking about.
Exactly. This is a very good question. Okay, Harvard Business Review has this report.
Harvard Business Review?
Had this report. Recently I read 47% of the thoughts that are running in your mind is useless.
It's not doing anything to you.
They are not giving anything to you. They are just coming and going.
It also drains your energy.
Because
That's important.
any process that happens in the brain, it takes the energy. Whether that is conscious. Conscious has a different perspective. Anything unconscious is like constantly drawing which you are not aware of. This is the first thing.
So the 47% of the thought, that means almost half of thoughts we have every day is really not doing anything for anyone. That in itself is not a big problem. Some people may say, okay, I get thoughts, I go there, I think about it, it doesn't hurt me, it doesn't bother me, right? Then why it is a problem?
Okay, but you become fatigued, you become tired.
Okay. Okay, so you become less energetic.
Exactly.
Less engaged with actual things you need to get engaged on.
This 47% of the thoughts that are there, they have to rely upon some energy sources which are your unconscious.
Right.
It is your background agendas, which right now you cannot fulfill, but they are waiting.
Right.
So first, we have so many desires. Unless you become aware, you cannot clear out that is for yourself to enjoy life.
Okay.
Because enjoying life, like very small child, when he is very small child, he can enjoy in a very small space. For him to walk on 2 feet is a big job, for him in the beginning.
Right.
That is one thing. Also, he may say, I am fine, I am good. But as soon as he becomes bigger, his mind becomes bigger, perception is bigger, capabilities are bigger, possibilities are bigger.
More desires.
More desires are coming.
More demands.
And more demands, but all demands are not fulfilled. So they will go into unconscious. So why should a lay person should meditate? Because he has so many desires, he is stressed on that. That is why to see that drives and motive and to clear that ground for you to enjoy what is being available to right now to you. To enjoy in a diversified ways without any addiction and dependency, you need to have an open space there, and meditation can provide that space.
Okay, so let me phrase it in the way I understood it,
Okay.
right? So I think then the answer to the question, why should I engage in this, what we are saying is that yes, you got your job, you went to school, you got your family, according to society, everything is going fine with you.
Yeah.
But what you're trying to point out here is that almost 50% of the time, all the thoughts come in people's mind, drains your energy.
Exactly.
That means it makes you less able.
Yeah.
Not only less able in the sense
Less creative.
You could have used deployed that for the actual thing that matters to you.
Exactly.
Maybe that will make them more successful in whatever they're doing.
Exactly. But you know why that? If you buy a car, you're desiring for a car, you bought the car, and in few days it's gone. You have no drives.
Right.
You have no enjoyment from the same car, and you are not thankful to it again.
Right.
Now your eyes are fixed on something else now.
Right.
So meditation give you the perspective. The car that you bought, you can really enjoy it. You don't have to look at another car, probably. Because if you are free from that energy, this dopamine addiction, the hankering for the new and new all the time, it is an addiction. It has been shown by the...
That's because of the distraction.
Yeah, distraction, yeah.
So basically, the distraction is reduced.
Exactly.
Maybe then 50% of useless thoughts become
more
30, 20.
Lesser. The more they become lesser, the more you feel expansiveness of the experience of here now.
Right. So that means you can feel the presence. Then your energy is not drained.
Then the same car, same relationship, same food will give you big enjoyment.
Makes sense. So that it also increases your level of peace and happiness.
Yeah, exactly.
Now because you're not deriving satisfaction from outside.
Exactly.
Come from within.
Because your perception to them of the same situation without meditation, it means you have the car, but you have no joy from the car.
Understood. I think I want to kind of clearly understand. So again, it goes back to we always having thoughts.
Yeah.
Always some of the enlightened masters supposedly can live in a thoughtless state. Right?
It is their natural state.
Right. That's the climb, right?
Yeah.
So when you're enlightened, that means you have the ability to be in thoughtless state.
Yeah.
When you're thoughtless state, at least according to psychology as I understand it, the thought is a means to get something done, right? If I want to go somewhere, first I have a thought, then that becomes an action.
But I will take another step here.
Okay.
It is not the thought man is guided by.
It's not thought what?
The man is guided by.
Okay.
It is the emotion that guides him.
Okay, but but even emotions, right?
It is emotion means the perception of the present reality. Like many people I have met in my life. I meet so many people here every day. Yeah.
Right.
And
how many? I heard about how many million visitors visited this place?
Yeah, I think more than million people.
I thought website said even 30 million or something.
Yeah, probably yes. Yeah, as a visitor, yes, of course.
Yeah.
We have every day we have 200 visitors here, and weekends we have 1,000 visitors.
So
this community exists for 35 years.
You obviously met a lot of people. That's what I'm coming to.
So what happens? Like you planning, if you feel good here, and all of a sudden you feel, what about staying for 7 days more? If you feel like, then your mind start thinking to prove that reality to stay here for 7 days, mind will start thinking about that.
Right.
I have seen so many friends, so many people, they came here for 7 days, they stay here for 3 months. They cancel the ticket.
Yeah.
Thought was that they will return back. But their whole being is an emotion that was nourishing them, was the bigger reality than their thought.
I see what you're saying.
Thought is a tool.
I'll just go in there. Thought is a means tool
attain something.
to get what you want.
Exactly.
So maybe when I came here, let's say if somebody came in here, take the example, they were like, they already have a plan. I have 1 month vacation. I'm going to be in Nepal for 1 week, another 2 weeks with meeting a friend or another country, and so date I return. They already have a plan.
Exactly.
Right? But they don't know what's going to happen when they're here.
Exactly.
So you're suggesting you've seen it personally. People do it. They got something they didn't think they can get.
They can get,
So once they realize that, they're like, they change the plan. So what drove them is their experience, but again, still, they needed the thought to cancel the ticket.
Exactly.
Right.
That is because thought was not the primary, it was the secondary.
Thought is a servant.
Yeah, it is a servant.
I saw some of the sayings of Osho. They're beautiful ones, 6, 7 of them. One of them Osho said right there, I think it's down the building, it said, mind is a terrible master, but a great servant. Right. So that kind of amplifies what you're talking about. Mind is a mean, thought is a means. Then anytime thought comes, that means it pushes you towards an action.
It is a future-oriented or past-oriented.
But when you have 40%, 50% of thoughts always trying to make you do things you don't have to do, and that's how you drain your energy.
Exactly.
And you also remove from the present moment. I think that's also can be source of stress.
Exactly. Many people are not, they are not seeking the thoughts, It
comes naturally.
In the world, people are not seeking the thoughts. Thought is a process, it comes by. But what people are seeking really, it is a little bit higher than the thoughts.
Which is
an integrating phenomena of your all senses. Like if you hear a good music, it is an integrative phenomenon. Like you are hearing, your body is the beats, tags. Probably you have some association with another music that is good for you in the past, a little similar to that. And mind start analyzing and it relinquishes that enjoyment to the body then. Then probably you will start moving your body, or you want to dance, or probably you want to sing, you want to hum something. So basically people here in this world are trying to get the emotional enjoyment.
I think I see where you're coming from.
I
think it kind of ties to what everything you're saying. I think everybody can personally validate. They can check it at this right moment, right? Anytime a thought comes, the thought is an energy towards an action. Right? That's why mind can be a great servant. Just like a car or watch or camera or chair. We don't want to be sitting on the chair all the time. Right? When we want to sit, we want to sit on it. Same way, thought, we want to have them when we actually have to do something.
Exactly.
But when you have 40% of thoughts according to Harvard Business Review, you're saying it could be a little bit less, a little bit more. That's a lot of time and energy.
As soon as you start becoming this speed of the thought inside your mind, you start listening, then what happens? The mind has a spaces. These spaces, unengaged spaces.
Engaged spaces?
Unengaged spaces, the empty spaces, where when the thoughts are lesser and lesser, like you are taking one thought, now this thought is dropped, it just subsides, and there is a space here.
Right.
So what you wanted to do in this life, what you really thought or planned or felt in the past, that if you do this, you become happy, you will have more chances of doing that.
No, understood.
Then becoming impulsive about the situation or the teaching from the people, not listening to your own voices. Probably you start listening to yourself more.
Now, that makes sense, right? So it's going back to the question you're asking, why someone has to engage in spiritual practices. Or it's a question is no much different from asking why someone has to go to college. Right? There is a value, there is a benefit. Obviously everybody knows if I go to college, I gain skills, then I can put to use, I can earn money, then I can support my family. That's everybody's clear, right? I'm not sure same thing is clear to people why they have to engage in meditation, why they have to do yoga, why they have to engage in spiritual practices, right? That's the question we're asking.
Exactly,
right? The way we are trying to answer is that in order to engage in something, we have thoughts. And a lot of times those thoughts are unproductive.
Unproductive and repetitive, unproductively.
The two problems with that, what I heard. One, it drains your energy, makes you tired. That means you have less energy. It's like you spend so much money on something, you have only less money left for good stuff.
That is why people have wealth, but they are tired.
Makes sense.
So
then that's one part, your energy is drained.
Yeah.
Second part is when you're drained, you're not
you are not happy. Even you have everything, but you cannot appreciate that.
Right.
Again, you want to jump to the future to have more.
But if you look at it, sometimes I listen to some of the motivational speakers, right? They're very popular ones. They will say fundamentally, to do anything, accomplish anything in the world, there is only two things, time and energy. Everything comes from that. Like you were saying long ago, this place was jungle.
Yes.
Now it's a beautiful place. You have so many buildings, temples, huge
Leopard
parks.
used to run here, there, and there in the night,
Yeah, I'm sure there's a big forest here, right?
But right now they are not coming here. There's good there.
But the basic ingredients that transform this place into such a beautiful, livable place is, you can say, time, people invested, and energy they invested.
Exactly.
I think it goes for big corporations, political party, building nation, creating a family, right, supporting everything. But the reason, I'm kind of trying to understand what we're discussing, right? That means the energy is drained, and a lot of time is wasted.
Time is wasted.
So you can regain the time and energy.
And you know what that brings? You don't have clarity about life.
Yeah, because you
cannot become your own master. The other things, if these things are taken away from you, you become miserable.
Obviously, because if I want to do something, I have to be able to engage myself in a longer duration, right? Even talking about this, going to school, getting a degree takes 4 years, PhD takes 10 years, right? And if you're constantly switching and studying different things, you're not going to get it.
Exactly.
So you should be able to focus, right?
To enjoy what you have, you need to have a little bit of silence mind. And that silence is very well provided by meditative practices. That is already shown by the science also.
Yeah. But here's a question though. Is there any scientific data, like you see, we live in a world dominated by rational mind, not intuition, right? Because of scientific advancement we have, gave us a lot of good things in life, like the camera we're recording, right? The mic, great. AC, building, architecture, all that came from rational thinking.
But behind these all ideas, there are very peaceful people.
I'm sure,
Because
you can make that out.
Because to have it did not came in a way that we think, anything that come new.
So are you questioning that it's not just born out of like
rational thinking?
It's not just purely rational?
No.
Is that what you're challenging?
No, I'm challenging it.
Okay. But normally people say like, music and art is more intuition based.
Even the scientist, if you see any scientist that works in a laboratory, it is not a rational mind always there it works. They need patience.
Of course.
They need courage to accept the failure.
What is it?
Courage to accept the failure.
Okay.
Redesign their own program. Not get lost in that depression. To cheer yourself up and stand up again and carry on to that.
Interesting. So again ties back to it. So it's not purely thoughts. Okay, it makes sense to me. It's not purely thought. You should be able to have that space. You still be able to focus. Still be able to not be distracted. Still be able to engage your energy on a particular subject. Then from that you have the productive thoughts.
Exactly. And there is a certain discipline in their work.
Right. So that discipline comes because they are able to manage their mind better. But sometimes a lot of people were able to do it. Interestingly, they didn't know anything about meditation. Right. They didn't know anything about spiritual practices.
They don't need to if their mind is always functioning that way.
Right.
They don't need to.
So it's interesting. So very interesting argument because the general, at least my opinion, generally most people think scientific method, all the scientific advancement, all come purely from rational thinking and analyzing.
Yes.
And earlier we went back to the discussion Osho and Anand ji had. The Osho response was, overanalyzing is not going to
help you.
Right.
Come to the meditation hall when your mind becomes silent, and then in that very silence you understand the problem not the way that your ego wants to understand. You will understand that problem in a bigger reality, and you see that it is not only you who will be success in solving this problem. If you accept this situation as it is, then things that were bothering you, they start, because you are holding on to that ideas. When you release that ideas, then you will
makes sense.
Then you will be more responsive, not reactive.
I think I can personally validate that. If you can look at our own experiences and we can see what we're talking is true, right? So that means it's a misconception in the world. A lot of great discoveries that improved our living conditions in the world did not simply come out of pure rational thinking. Even though still the rationality is a means, right? We're not against thought. We're not saying you should go there and find a way to disconnect from the thoughts, live in a thoughtless space all the time. We're not saying that.
We are not saying that at
right?
all.
But because there's also a misconception in the world. When people say, what is enlightenment? Why someone has to get enlightened? That question is different from why someone has to even engage in spiritual practices. That's the question we're answering.
Yeah.
For a person, an enlightened person, his goal is to go to thought life, because they're at the stage where they have no particular desire.
Even I want to say one thing. If you relax your body through some practices, if you have a good relaxation of your body, anything, when you don't fall asleep, but you are totally relaxed, you will always have insight on that context.
True.
If you relax your body and very relaxed and you don't fall asleep, you start having insight about the body.
Even now, like our discussion you and I are having, I'm not totally focused, concentrated. I know if I focused and concentrated, I would not be able to relate what we are talking now and what we talked around 30 minutes ago. So since I'm relaxed,
we are just flowing.
I'm able to, my mind, I wasn't even aware of it. My mind is able to relate everything we were discussing from the beginning and make connections. But if I focus and concentrate on what specific thought and ideas we are talking, then I would be disconnected from everything else happening in the past. So that's kind of very interesting. So very good thing, right? So it's not just purely rational.
It's not purely rational. Of course, the scientific base is rational, but there are people.
The foundation.
Foundation is rational, because without rational foundation, you cannot get clarity about the path. That is fine. But there are people who take that ideas and start working. But these people have a different quality than the ordinary people in the society.
What is the quality?
This quality.
What is it?
I again counted these qualities, The first is the great passion. Like you are giving total your energy, but still you think that you are not hurried about the result. You are not hurried to get the result, You don't run to get the result. You are not speeding the process, So you have that passions within yours. This is the first quality. The second is you are relaxed with the process. The third, you have courage to accept the mistakes. Fourth, there is a discipline of not become addictive. It become too much attached to the experiment itself.
Get lost.
You are open to all the consequences.
You engage and disengage.
You engage and disengage.
Just it goes back to the meditation you were talking about earlier, right? Or unconscious thought comes in, we're able to accept it or reject it. A lot of times if you don't have that ability, you get distracted, we go from one to the other.
In the meditation, we don't even reject, because we know mind has no essence. It is just coming and going. Coming, let it be, let it go.
Just watch.
You just see that phenomenon. If you are overwhelmed by the trauma, then it becomes difficult for them to do that. Then you need a little bit therapeutic setups to clear that trauma again.
That's very interesting, right? When you look at people, sometimes people take extreme decisions, including committing suicide, or sometimes business failure, or love failure,
and this is the product. Why this happened? I tell you, this is the product of the pure rational mind.
Right. So for them, it's like when I'm focused, when I concentrate, and like for example, when I'm watching a movie, right? That's why they shut everything down, make it darker, turn off the light. The mind has nothing to engage but only the movie, right? So when mind cries and get excited, it goes through all the emotion. I said that is all there is there. But there is still a world outside of that building.
Exactly. The reality is waiting there.
But the mind doesn't know. Because of that, it's just being influenced by what is given to it, right?
That is why the more society is rational, the more psychological problem.
Right, makes sense. So I'm going back to the topic where when people get depressed, take an extreme decision of committing suicide, sometimes it looks like even in India recently I've seen even students committed suicide because they're not able to get good marks, good grades.
Every year, thousands of students, when they could not pass, when they could not reach the mark,
But what happened to the education system, in a way, it's a failure, I would argue, because education should be a tool, means to live a good life.
Exactly.
Make your life better.
It is not like making people mad about that, giving such criteria around the education that it is impossible for everybody to attend that.
It goes back to the four qualities. One of them is grace to accept the failure and keep trying.
Exactly.
But what sometimes we're teaching is like, you have to do it, and that is all there is to it in life. Just like a person who watching movie, influenced by all the emotions from the movie, they are disturbed by what happens because of what they are trying to do at the moment. If they're able to disengage and separate and say, my life is different, I am different, school is just a means, I can take more time, I can try again, or this problem is temporary, right? Then you don't have to take those extremes.
Exactly.
Right.
That is why, even I can say from my own life, when I was a student, I was the first boy,
First ball.
I was the first in the class always.
First in the class. Okay.
And I really thought that, anyway, there are so many professions in life, out in the world, professions in life. I should not be only become doctor or engineer. I can be a good teacher also.
Yeah.
I was really a good teacher also.
You can be all of it. You have to choose one still. Yeah.
Because, and I was thinking that I should not be defining myself as a failure or a success by becoming success in very particular. It is my choice, and the meaning is big. So that was my outlook, and I was really happy about that. You have so many things around you.
But I have a problem with, I think it logically makes sense. What is success, right? Some people's success is being peaceful and happy and help the communities and being a good person, right? Some people think about becoming rich, buying a jet, buying a mansion, becoming more powerful, famous, and all that.
Exactly.
Right? Generally, the society is driven by desires, again, given to them by the society, making more money, more famous, more popular, more respectable. Forgetting this should be a natural thing should happen. You do good things, people respect you. You do something so good, you become a famous doctor. But you're not going for the popularity. You are doing your job right.
Okay, I want to say, ask you one question. If I'm very famous, if I'm alone, who am I? So what am I famous for if I'm alone? If there are no people to appreciate my...
But that means you. That's a great question, because people forget and live for others validation.
Okay. If I'm beautiful, like my body is very beautiful, if I'm alone, for whom I'm beautiful?
Right. That means a lot of our happiness, like the example you gave me earlier, I got a car, right? It is not because I personally benefit from it. It's because how other people think about me. Then my happiness comes from other person's perception. And I'm trying to control their perception.
Exactly.
By buying a big mansion.
By manipulating my own energy and drifting away from my life sources.
Right. I'm disconnecting from myself. I'm spending all the money all the time and energy to fundamental.
Exactly. If I'm the president of the country, when I'm inside my room alone, for whom I am the president? I am alone. So when you start defining yourself through the eyes of others, so what you have to do? Two things. You have to manipulate yourself and you have to manipulate others.
And you become a slave to other people's perception.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why some person says something bad about you, people get angry and upset.
That is why whole world has plunged into the misery, this misery. Attending more in front of others.
Then people get addicted to drugs.
Exactly. And that brings 1001 problem. That is why my question is, find time always. If you are human, only human has that capacity to reflect upon their own being. So when you are alone, can you accept yourself? Remember, if you don't love your body, you will never find another person to love your own body which you don't love. If you don't love your mind, if you don't love your peaceful process within, you will never find other people who will appreciate your truth.
I think it goes back to the discussion we're having, right? You be yourself, right? Fundamentally they say one of the life goals in philosophy is knowing thyself, which is in Indian parlance, I think they call it enlightenment.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Realize yourself.
Understanding who you are, right? You're right. In society, from the education, in a way it's a bad education. From the culture, our parents and society want you to be successful. They focus on the outside, not the inside. Like they look at the person who has a big house, very popular, or has huge following, or well respected, have many awards. They see all the benefit that person is getting, and they want the same thing for their son and kids and all that. That's natural, right? Because they can only see from the outside. But what they cannot see is that person who is successful and popular, how he became that. He didn't become that simply
by design,
forgetting himself, right? In a way, our energy is misdirected to the wrong direction. That's how we end up having students getting dejected and depressed, even they don't so well, and brings misery to them and others. So these problems can be solved by teaching meditation.
That is why we are accumulating wealth. We are accumulating rockets we are planning to go to Mars. But nobody is happy. The person who is creating rockets for the Mars himself is not very stable person. Then who we are up to see about life, how we should live. Unless you look at your own self. You cannot, because remember, everything is flux here. Nothing is permanent. After 35, your body starts degenerating. Few million cells die every day. So you are living in the body which is ultimately going into the degenerative process. Yourself, body is becoming frail.
No, the creation and destruction
exactly.
Happening.
But if you are trying to prove your own health, well-being through the other's eyes, so what about your own degenerative body? You are not taking care of your own health.
That means, can we say that the fundamental problem in the world is that people's energy and time is directed outside, they forget about themselves.
Exactly.
They're not...
So they are weak. They have become weak themselves. They are not empowered people.
Then they are being controlled by their own habit and the subconscious.
And then who came there in between? Politicians come and manipulate this. people. Politicians are very powerful when people are weak.
Yeah, that's how the division, identity politics, caste, groups, and they form their own union.
Yeah, exactly, and conflict starts.
Right.
Why this happens? Because these people are weak people. If you empower, you understand, you want to become master of your mind. Probably that will be the creative way to live on this earth, to create peace, not becoming slave to others' ideas. This is the only way to become happy. Unless you become responsible for your own things, without becoming reactive to the things, you cannot find happiness.
Makes sense, right? So then the next question fundamentally comes in, right? There's so many organizations trying to help people find this, understand who they are. Right? Osho, Financial Community is one of them, right? There are so many other movements out there, right? So how you say about that? You think everybody's having the same technology, tools, ability to help them is same? Or is anyhow, you think like Osho is somehow different?
No. Osho is a little bit different. Why he differs? Because he says that if you divide this world and people through religion, remember, you will turn this beautiful earth into hell. You don't need many. By default, that will be created. So he says that forget about these people. Understand your own energy. Become little bit silent. Become one with the nature. Find your own inner voices to realize in this world. Become little bit more silent. And there are so many techniques. Of course, all the masters that are behind the religion are talking about the same thing.
I'm saying even today, right? There are so many different meditation centers. There are so many people trying their enlightenment. In India we have Sadhguru, and I think there's another person, the Jamaica Mood. In the Western, Ekatoli. And there are so many people, right, out there. They're teaching many different ways to find who you are, right? For example, even Ramana Maharishi is widely accepted. Paul Young, Germany, you probably heard of him. He has a different approach. He called it individuation, right? So you think that all of them are doing the same work, or there is some pros and cons?
They are fundamentally doing the same work, but like Osho took a different, because he took the social issue also. That is that he is different. Like Ramana Maharishi talk about elimination, inner elimination. He did not care about the social issue.
He didn't care about the politics, society. Because I remember this, that brings memory. Somebody asked Ramana Maharishi, I think it's in their website, there's a hunger in the world, crime in the world, murder in the world, war in the world, and how can we help them, and how can we say that God is great, right? His answer was, just find out who you are first.
Exactly. That's true.
And then it kind of opened the possibility, once you find out who you are, maybe you'll be able to solve the problem. But Ramana Maharishi himself, once he found out who he is, he never engaged in any social issues. He never talked against politicians. He never talked against anyone, any social ills. But he always advocated for finding who you are. Maybe his method was that if everybody finds who they are, then naturally everybody becomes good.
Exactly. But
that's almost the utopian goal.
But since, because if you become a little bit aware as a social person, like we are living in a society, if you become a little bit aware of what is happening, how you are vulnerable to go unconscious in this hard psychology, in this move psychology, so save yourself from that. Osho's proposition was that. So also understand the social phenomenon, because we are living in the society. Then with that, probably you will have an easy understanding. You won't have much conflict with the society, because you start understanding the process of the society, how it works. First, the society is a medium range phenomenon. It does not mediate too much of talented people and enlightened people. So society will go by itself without even enlightened people. But if you understand the social process, then probably it will be easy, because you are also said that you cannot move away from the family. You have to stay in the family. Also said that. You have to stay in the family, but you have to be conscious about what you are doing about the things. You have to do regular meditation. We give so many techniques. And also say, okay, if you live in the society, then understand how society functions. And don't create conflict with that. You empower yourself with meditation, understand very well that how it functions, then probably you have much energy without confusion to have your own inner illumination. So that is why he talked about social phenomenon, because he wanted to create the people. He said that I want to make your home a temple. That is why a person who wants to convert his home is a temple, a house of God, then he should be aware what is happening around. He cannot go only inside, just closing eyes what is happening outside.
Now that kind of makes sense, right? Because the ultimate purpose, it sounds like, right, even politicians, even spiritual masters, everyone is almost they're giving a way for people to live happy, good life, right? And meditation being a means to get there, right? Politicians argue the same thing. Politicians say, we're going to collect your tax money, we're going to build a good road, good school, good hospitals, so that we can help you make life better.
Okay.
I think we need both.
Yeah.
Both has to work together, right? We cannot have corrupt politicians make life miserable and corrupt elements and bad beliefs and superstitions, which is going to waste people's energy and bring distractions and war and crime into the world, right? Like when I walked around here, one thing I noticed is he has symbols of very different religious figures.
Yeah.
Right?
We have all the masters here, you know. From
I think is it Jesus at the end?
Jesus there, Shiva Puri Baba, Ramana Maharshi, Krishna, Lord Krishna, Osho himself,
Aurobindo,
Yogananda, Aurobindo, Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramahansa.
And he also, I heard he talks about Buddha, he talks about
Buddha, he has talked about Jesus extensively, he has talked about Tao and Japanese masters, Zen masters, he has talked about Sufi masters, he has talked about Tibetan masters, he has talked about...
So we found if you go beyond the veneer, go beyond the surface, if you go into the mysticism of any religion, like Zen Buddhism or Tibetan Buddhism or Mahayana, there are many different kind of Buddhism, even Hinduism, we have many different sects, even Jainism.
Jainism, we talk about Hinduism, Gita.
Psychology, or any number of religion, any number of tradition out there, even anything we know in this world, right? Ultimately they are talking about mind, right? It's all about the mind. The way they explain to the world through different framework, different structure, but people cannot see.
But if you see the inside, if you go inside the consciousness of an enlightened person, he is, if you see Osho or Ramana Maharshi, all these enlightened people, you know, it is they reflected in their own words, they reflected what they were inside. They tried to say that, which was unsayable, which was unnarratable. They could not, which was beyond words, you know.
Right.
Their own presence was beyond
when they describe it, it's hard for, it's like creating.
But the people who listened were unconscious people. They were listening quite differently.
They may hear and understand differently.
Understand differently. And when they were written and then presented to the people, it's quite different there. That is why we have a problem here in this process. So the main way is to, there is a guideline, but you ask yourself, are these words creating enmity with other people? Are these words like inflating your ego? Or are these words making superior to others? Are these words are source of dominating others? Are these words creating zealots?
Creating what?
Zealots, you know, these people.
Jealousy.
Right. And all these people, you know, so that is why Osho says that I am opening all the words from all enlightened masters, but take the essence of that and become a conscious person.
Right. That part I personally like it, right? So you go to the essence of it, right? Ultimately you have different, it's almost the way I look at it is, you can build a house, n number of different architecture. Ultimately what you're doing is building a space you can live inside better, right? Similarly, all these religion, all these masters, they express that through their own language and culture and framework. But underneath it,
their mind is beyond everything what is on the basis of what this society runs. They have nothing inside that.
It's all about freeing yourself. You have more space for yourself, you're more happy, get rid of jealousy, anger, violence, all that leading.
That is why any religion says that we are the...
But yet, everybody's fighting. Everybody's saying,
why this
my religion is better, my master is better.
Why this is happening? Osho said that, I just impart to you, it is up to you now to handle it. Osho said that. If you understand, so far so better. If you don't understand, then please forgive me.
Makes sense. But at least we established there is a value in engaging in spiritual practice. We also established there are many different traditions, many different religions, different mystics, different culture try to do the same thing. Tibetan Buddhism or Dalai Lama or Buddha or Krishna or Vivekananda or Ramakrishna or totally Jesus, right? All these people try to do the same thing. But people not understanding it, looking from outside, they think these are all different things. Sometimes they think one is better than the other. They fight. A lot of religious wars.
And you know what is happening? This is very interesting that we have created the religion which are ready to fight with each other. But but they also say that we are together. We are from the same source, you know.
That's funny, right? Everybody says you cannot hate others. You have to love everybody, right? Everybody runs a God, and there's a God.
So there is a rift between how we live and what we think.
It's not just a rift. It almost sounds like hypocrisy.
Then Osho said that, we are just removing everything. Take the original words of this enlightened master which I have to share with my own enlightenment, through my own enlightenment. And there is beautiful part is that there are, like if you see that that part, not all people will be interested in meditating.
Right.
Okay? So Osho is for the people who want to meditate and who want to transform them.
Right.
For them, his whole world is available. But if they only read the Osho's book, they find many things conflicting there. Because Osho, consciously he said that, I am living these spaces, conflicting spaces. Unless you become silent and understand what I am saying, beyond those words, then you will not see conflict there. You will see the harmony.
Understood.
Because he said that, I have seen Ram and Raman, death and life living together. They are hugging each other.
I understand that. But I do realize this is a process, right? You cannot just read a book and understand it.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time and meditation and engagement to come to the point to realize it's all the same thing. That's why it's a process we need to go through. But these are all positive things, right?
Yeah.
But we have to look, I also think like you should look at both sides, positive and negative side, critical side, right? Because there are different people who have a different opinion out there.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say that from Osho's perspective, there was a lot of controversies out there, right? A lot of people claim that sometimes people is even called sex guru.
Yeah.
And some people say that...
I tell you, everybody wanted to be sex guru right now in this world.
Yeah,
Everyone wants to be sex guru.
I don't know about that.
It is not only Osho,
Yeah.
Everybody wants to. Who does not want to be a sex guru?
I don't know that.
Yeah, they want to be guru in sex everywhere because sex is the prime drive. They want to handle it well.
Right.
But they want to be guru of the sex.
So from that point. No. I'm asking because you're inside.
Yeah.
You are in this movement for 25 plus years.
Yeah.
You travel all around the world. You met many different disciples or curious people come in asking questions.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But there are also critics out there. They ask these questions, right? Mm-hmm. How do you answer that question? Like some people even say, I read the other day that he also took drugs, they're saying. Is there any truth to it?
No, I don't think so. He needed some drugs because he was beyond that. Because the whole process that started in him in India when he became enlightened, that was not because that was not brought forth by drugs. It was his conscious enlightenment, So that happened. Later on, they said that he had drugs and all these things that I don't think that
even if he did, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
He was not, I'm not saying, even if he took, I think he was the master anyway.
No, it's not a questioning or challenging the legitimacy of what he taught.
Yeah.
Regardless how he lived, whatever he said still can be true.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Like for example.
But in America, what he did is very interesting. He did in America, and that is typical to American society. He did because he said that when he went from the East to America, he said that in America people will understand through the wealth, through the riches. So he created a big commune and accumulated Rolls Royce. So the day he started accumulating Rolls Royce, all papers start writing. An Indian guru accumulating 93 Rolls Royce and everything. If he had been talking only about meditation, nobody would have written.
No, but that's the claim, right?
Yeah. But he said that I did this in America. I have to do it because America understands that language and I have to talk that language. But my message is meditation. Once they come here listening that news, I propose them here to meditate.
That makes sense.
And I have a big arsenal of meditations.
No, that's true, right? But if you contrast, I think when like, especially from India or in the West or all the worlds, right? When they look at all the Gurus and enlightened masters, most of them lived a very simple life.
Yeah.
Right, but Osho did not do that.
No, he didn't.
He lived bigger than, better than even a billionaire, right? He had 90 or 93 Rolls Royce. He has his own helicopter. He had diamond watches.
No, he has his own fleet of planes,
Yeah.
He had his own airport. And in that very desert, they could produce all the vegetables. They did not buy any vegetables from outside. 5,000 people living at a time, and they were all growing inside the community. It is a barren land, Oregon was. So it was the people, it is a creative idea that is implemented.
There's a positive side to it, right?
Yeah.
We already talked about the positive side. So I want to address an opportunity to address the
So what is wrong?
side.
What is wrong living with it when you have, why religion should be always beggar's business? He said that.
True. But my question is,
Yeah.
personally I'm neither against or
No.
I'm
Exactly.
asking
I understand that.
people
I am
have a
also
question.
quoting him,
Right.
I cannot also answer all the questions that he started. He's an enlightened master. I cannot grasp his life.
That's why some people, I feel like, for example, the Osho's answer to that, if I have all the wealth and all that, people will listen, more controversial, it's free marketing. You might have thought that. But it also had a negative side to it. Because the way he did it, distanced a lot of people.
Yeah.
It alienated a lot of people. It created enemies.
Yeah.
I think Osho himself said he loved
But I think he was aware of that phenomena, and he probably must have thought, by doing this, if I do, I am not going to lose anything anyway. He must have that idea. He did not care about people that way doing that. that. Because if I am going to do, because he was always a very experimenting master.
Right.
He was not following any pattern at all.
Right.
So in America he did something very different, which he did not do at all in India.
Right.
In India he was only wearing a white lungis. In America he started having all this. Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
He was asked, why you are doing this? Because I am in America.
So that's his answer.
Yeah,
Right?
I am in America. I am not in the village of India,
Right.
where nothing is possible. Things are possible, I am doing here.
Right.
Whatever is possible in the present moment right now.
But this what I understand that.
Yes.
I listened to all this. You
Yeah.
told me, I've heard about it. But this is from the critic's point of view.
Yeah.
What would you say to the critic, right? When you have a lot of poor people, and when you say the message of love.
No. Poor people have a different problem. You cannot. This is a very interesting phenomenon. Poor people will be always there when there will be politics, because politics is on the basis of this poor. Because we have to create a society and collect the tax and give to the something. So poor should always remain there to play the politics. Poorness is not being discarded by Osho's way of living. There is another way how to handle the poverty. If one person lives and shows that I am living here, I can create. Guys, what you are doing, you can also do this.
Right.
Don't be fooled by what is being said to you. I can do it here in desert. We could create the wealth here.
No, I did see a video where Osho said, a reporter asked him, why you have this hi-fi lifestyle? He simply said, I do it. I want to do it. What's wrong with it?
Yeah,
He did
there is
say
no
that.
wrong, yeah.
But the critics say that, right, especially when there is a lot of need out there, that money and wealth could have been utilized.
He has a very interesting answer for that. Leave all the religion for that. Let me do my own business. He said that.
So he himself admitted it's business?
Yeah, no, he said that business means not the business, but let me do my own thing. Let poor be taken care by religions. It is their business.
I see.
He said that funnily probably.
Right.
He has this irony somewhere, because this religion had been doing for 2000 years, all these years, but poverty is not being solved.
Right.
Because he said that, what he said basically is that his proposition was probably ironic that he did that in America. And you know what happened? When everything was snatched away and he was removed from America, he came to Manali. Yeah, and Swamiji was there, Swami Arun was there with him. There was not so many people with him. And Swamiji was very hard that they have to leave Rajneeshpuram, a royal life, a big commune. And he was very distressed, Swamiji was distressed. But Osho was very happy. And he was not distressed, nothing of that. You know that he lost America. And he was enjoying sitting there, And Swamiji asked, Bhagwan, we lost everything. You remember this, how enlightened people have this. We have lost everything. I remember that in...
Not only lost, he brought bad reputation.
Yeah, bad reputation, everything, he said.
Right.
But he said on that context, in my childhood I had a bicycle. And when I lost somebody, stole it, I was so depressed for a few years that I remember that. But Bhagwan, seems that you don't remember anything, Rajneesh. You know what he said? You thought that it was yours. That is why. That is why he said that.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, he
has understanding of how mind works and all that.
Your bicycle, you thought that it was yours. That is why when somebody stole it, you had the sense of loss. But I never thought that Rajneeshpuram was mine.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it was not mine. But now enjoy Himalayas here. I'm sitting here by the Bassa River. Enjoy this, how moment is going here. River is flowing. You see the Himalayas. Enjoy this moment. Whatever was live, we live. Just let it go. Now enjoy this moment.
No, that's great, right? It's well understood. You produce.
So critics should also listen to this statement also.
Right.
Not only what he did that in America,
right,
but how he lived. And when he lived in that very hotel in Manali, there was not a geyser there. They had to boil the water for him to take bath. And he said, it's fine, no problem. We live. It was not mine.
So you live in a little bit normal conditions, you're saying, after you return from
less than normal for a person like him.
Right. I think the question I'm asking is beyond question that Osho is brilliant man, right? His take and perception views are widely accepted, and it's worldwide. His books are popular. People read them, all that. But yet there are critics, from their mind, there are things wrong, right? When they say things wrong, they're not saying everything Osho said is wrong. But some people have a problem with the sex part of that, and also the hi-fi life part of that. And some people find that there's a gap between what he said and how he lived. These are the three main criticisms.
About the sex, what Osho said that. It is a big energy, and he allowed to experiment with that. Probably because everybody has a problem with sex, right? Because sex is like food.
Everybody must engage with it, no doubt.
Everybody is engaged with that. Since if you are not allowing to have a food, what you will do? You will start stealing the food. That is what happening with the society.
True.
So they are stealing the sex.
Otherwise population will end and all that.
Regarding that, because sex in the East was never condemned.
Yeah, Kama Sutra and all that. But that's always it's not openly though, right? Like in society, it's always conservative. Even though there's a book.
But there were schools which allow. There were tantric schools. Like if you go to Khajuraho, our own temples are full full of that image.
Art.
East has always accepted the sex as it is not a denouncing part.
But nobody, the problem was it was saying private, nobody was talking about it, everybody's happy.
But psychology wanted to talk, and they want to hang the person who talked about that. But also talked it through the religious stage, and that was the problem.
Okay, let me ask the question the other way around, right? Do you think there are things Osho did, maybe you should have done it differently, so you could have avoided the controversies, some of the problems and bad reputation it came with?
I cannot say that, because he himself said that if you say me, when I see the doer, and you say go through the wall, I cannot do it.
Go through the wall?
Yeah.
What is that?
When a person sees the door to get out of the room, if anyone comes and said that, okay, go through the wall, he will go through the door. I see the whole existence open to him. I see the door.
So that means, so you're saying maybe...
He was very clear about it.
Maybe you answered the question for me in a way. This is what I think.
If blind people say, a person who has the eyes to go that way or this way, whatever blind, open the person who sees, he will do according to his own reason.
So are you saying, because also transcended the mind, enlightened, and he is not bound by morality?
No enlightened master bound by moralities.
Okay.
No enlightened master.
Okay.
Ever. Like Jesus. When people were throwing the stones to a woman, a prostitute, they say that at that time, Jesus' time.
That's interesting analogy.
Yeah. And Jesus said that, okay, hold.
Those are not sinner here.
Yeah. Who have not think about another woman in their lifetime, only he will throw the stones.
Then nobody could do it.
And nobody could do it. It is a very simple fact. And what did he say?
No, maybe this is an answer. True. We are aware of that, right? We all know that there is something called subconscious. People have a lot of art. There is huge business out there. Everybody knows it. Part of life. Yet people don't want to talk about it, right? It is like that. Because they are looking everything through moral lens, right? So the morality is different in West. East.
Morality, what morality is for whom? Morality is always for the powerful. Powerful people will define the moral.
But it is different, right? That's why when people...
But those who are powerful, they are not bound by moral. They can define their own moral.
They do.
There have always been in society.
Even Nietzsche says that, right?
Yeah.
Right? But that's where the conflict comes in, right? When a person comes in...
But having said it all, I said that if you become little silent and peaceful and respectful to everybody, moral will be set up by it. So you don't have to talk about moral. You become moral to yourself. You are a self-evident person. It is not a matter of talking and becoming hypocritical.
No, I understand. As an individual, as a private person.
Exactly. Also says that you individually become a little bit peaceful, enjoy the life, become a little courageous too. He said, what he said? Very interesting. I love this quotation. 2,000 mistakes, but never repeat the same mistakes. That is the only way.
Some people claim also made a lot of, even though he's a master. They don't say he's stupid.
Whenever you come to this world, whenever you want to do something, like when Buddha was talking about the body, the impermanence of the body, in Sravasti, 30 monks went and committed suicide. Because what will be listened?
No, I don't follow it. You're saying Buddha caused 30 monks to die?
No. Buddha was talking about the impermanence of the body. The body is temporary.
Right.
It is full of impurities.
Right.
So body has his own problem.
Right.
And people listen to that and went to commit suicide.
Is it a historical fact?
Yeah, it is historical.
So you're saying they misunderstood?
I just read that in Arun Suri's book.
That means they misunderstood what Buddha was saying.
Yeah, that is why in so many times you don't understand the context from where that is being taught.
Okay. There are two parts to it.
Yeah.
Right? Osho's message, we do know there's a lot of benefit in it, meditation benefit in it. No doubt about it. The criticism is only some part of what he did.
He also loved to provoke people.
Right.
That was his very lovable
his humor
thing. Yeah. He wanted to provoke people. You know what he said? Unless I provoke you, you don't become awake. Unless I challenge you, your mind does not awaken.
That's the Zen.
It is a mix of so many things in him.
At the same time, we don't have to Osho's message is timeless wisdom, right? Some of them are not even his own invention or discoveries.
Yes.
He just interpreted it, right? All the books he wrote about different religion, Hinduism, all that, he's basically
he said that I said nothing new.
Yeah, right.
Everything is the same.
So if Osho is wrong, then all religions are wrong.
Because the context is different.
Right.
The people listening, the same thing, have fallen asleep now. I have to take another spirit to awaken them.
It's a different perspective.
It's a different perspective.
Different language, different frameworks, right? Yeah. So he cannot be wrong in a lot of things he said. If he's wrong, then everything else is also wrong, because that's not his message.
Because
he's just an interpreter.
Yeah, if you see something in a new way which we are not accustomed to,
it's like a
mind will interpret that as a mistake. That is fine, no problem.
That's what teachers do, right? They know what student needs. They'll present it in a way he is able to validate his personality.
Okay,
Yet, right? I think it's a good closure. Yet, right? We can separate his message from personal life, right? And I'm sure everybody has a different opinion about criticism about certain things he did and things he didn't do, right? There are people accept some part, some people don't accept some part. The same thing.
That is normal for the human being.
All Christians don't accept everything
even in Bible. Yeah.
All Hindus don't accept it. It's natural. It's okay to openly talk about it.
It is the part of the human mind. Human mind cannot accept everything. If it accepts, then it becomes tathata. It becomes sakshi.
The reason even I'm bringing the criticism part into our discussion
this is fine.
for two reasons. One, you you have inside view, you can share. Number two, it again same as the message. You don't want to be attached to anyone. Even to our gurus, right? You don't want to be attached. You don't want to look at them as everyone should be put to the lens.
He has given the blueprint for our own growth. We are more focused on that than proving what is wrong, what is right.
So you're saying, so here you kind of took all the positives Osho said and you focused on the positives.
Because it is his commune, he is our master.
It's not everything. Right?
We are not thinking that way.
So you don't have those negative, controversial part here.
We accept it as a quality of our own mind. Unless you create the dark, you cannot see the star. We saw Osho that way. Okay. He is a big dualist. So it is your choice.
But do you accept everything Osho said?
Probably it is not accepting whatever Osho said, because my acceptance depends upon my own growth.
That's right. But where are you now?
Yeah, where I am right now. If I say that yes, I accept anything and I am ignorant, what does it mean for Osho?
That's a good answer. All right. Honest answer.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Because if I am ignorant and I feel that I accept Jesus, I accept Muhammad, if I am myself ignorant, then what does it mean that for Jesus and Muhammad?
That's a good place to end it, right? Ultimately, not about the masters.
Yeah.
It's not about the religion. Not about the religion.
Yeah.
Not about any technique.
Yeah.
Any specific method. About a person's own growth and improvement.
Exactly.
That's what everyone should focus on. I'm glad you're engaged in that discussion.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're engaging here. You're doing that.
So in 1 minute, I will say about this commune.
Okay.
So right now, up to now, the people from 80 countries have visited these places.
Okay.
And we have 7 sessions of meditation every day.
7
sessions of meditation every day.
Okay.
We have 4 meditation camp going on every month.
Okay.
And we have been well engaged with the society here. We are engaged with doctors here. Like big hospitals has done research on our techniques right now. Big teaching hospital, Triveni University has done research of 1 week.
What kind of research? Like meditation technique?
Yeah, meditation techniques. In Will it is published there. I will send that. Also about dynamic meditation Kundalini. They have taken the serum and they have analyzed that everything about serotonin and all these things. And we are very well connected with here in Nepal. Nepal police regularly comes here and they get training. Administrative people come.
You train Nepali police?
Yeah. Also sometime we go to the armed police also do the program. For lawyers we have program. For forestry department we have programs.
Nice.
We do so many programs here.
You're doing a lot of community outreach.
Yeah, many
Not just for visitors.
You can't even count. We don't have even time for that. How the demand is here for our work in Nepal.
That's nice. So you do charity work.
We have 92 centers in Nepal, 5 communes.
90
centers in Nepal. All over Nepal. And we have outside Nepal also around 25 centers. And we have 5 communes like a big where people can stay, more than 100 people.
So is this the most prominent
this is the most active and thriving commune of Osho in the world.
Is there others? Or is
in the world itself, I say.
Okay.
Like you can go to other centers, but other centers are not as active as it is, because Swamiji is here, Swami Anand Arhat is here, and he's inspiring us, and he's a man of because he was trained with Osho. Osho gave him the work to do work in Nepal. He gave the center's name, Osho Ashish Meditation Center. Ashish means blessing. Ashish.
How do you say it?
Ashish.
Is that the Nepalese word?
In Nepali word. In English, it's a Sanskrit word.
Okay.
Ashish.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ashish means blessing.
Wonderful.
He is give the blessings to Nepal that his work will thrive. And in the first meeting when Osho, in 69, when he called Swami Arun to the camp, that you can solve your problem only through meditation. He went there and he made first time and he said that in Nepal my work will happen like anything. He said that my work will be in Nepal will be in the same scale as Buddhism happened in Tibet. He said.
At the end of the day, it's not about anyone. It's not even about the Osho. We already said it's about the individual community of the time, future generation. They have to be productive. They need to have control over their mind. They need to be productive, happy.
Seeing the big challenge of present moment where people have lost the peace, probably it will be easy for people to experiment with meditation and understand another dimension.
At least people should know there is a way. Right? And people come and test it. If they don't like it, they can leave. But it's very obvious. I see people.
So we are very happy to carry this work around the world, and we are very welcoming to all people, independent of their religion, their belief. Meditation is problem.
Like a psychological work.
It's a bigger than psychology, because psychology has no solution of the problem right now. Psychology is a mind phenomenon, but right now people need to relax.
Right, you have to go beyond the mind.
Beyond the mind,
right.
Because
I think psychology is recognizing
psychology is recognizing right now meditative techniques. They are incorporating, because psychology is basically analyzing the mind, but analysis of the mind does not give you the ultimate relaxation.
You cannot separate distance from it. Totally understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for taking time.
Thank you for coming and also taking your time and coming and talk with us. And I'm very happy that we talk so openly about our master.
I personally gave me a lot of good insight. I personally benefited. Thank you.
Thank you.